At Red Belt, we're going to spend a little bit of time honing our new skill of throwing. Now, throwing can be very effective against an opponent who's giving you a lot of force. But the first syllabus you're going to see attacking throwing, your partner's just standing there. I just want to point out, if your partner's not giving you any energy, it can be incredibly hard to throw them. There was a judo master. Judo, if you didn't know, they are the foremost experts on the art of throwing. This master had a really cool idea where he got a field trip together and he brought his entire class down to the ocean. He'd like to do this on a regular basis, and they would just sit and observe the ocean. If you've ever had the opportunity to spend time at the ocean and observe the waves, you'll notice a constant ebb and flow. The ocean washes in and then it washes out. And one time it washes in, and as it washes out, a larger wave with more power comes in towards it. But then the wave that was there before it goes underneath, commonly referred to as the undertow. And that creates the motion of the curl of the wave. And that is also the same motion that you need in the throw. There are a couple of ways to make your opponent give you energy if they're not giving it to you already. One obvious way is through a pull. That pull gets his energy to come forward. At the same time, I'm going to put my energy down and low, so I'm scooping the opposite direction. Together, that would look something like this. Now, sometimes, though, people want to resist you, and if I pull him, he's going to lean backwards. So I might have to use a little bit of reverse psychology, where the very first thing I do is push him, then when he's leaning in, he just gives me the energy, and I don't even have to pull. The other half of the energy is the half that you're giving to your opponent. You don't want it to feel like the ocean crashing against the rocks, because you notice that knocked my opponent's balance backwards, where I want their balance coming forward. It also knocked my balance forward when I want my balance going backwards. So you want this to be a fluid, smooth, scooping motion that doesn't give any different energy to your opponent. One way you can practice that is with, I'm going to use a heavy bag. You can have a partner just stand there at attention or at a chumbi stance. You could use a tree, you could use a telephone pole, and you're practicing two things. How close can you step to your opponent without kicking them or stepping on them? And how close can you get your booty and your back to your opponent without pushing it backwards? And it can be very easy. The way we practice the footwork in the throws is a 1, 2, 3. And in those 3 steps, try to have no space between you and the target. This could be a good exercise to do just in the beginning. As you get comfortable with it, you start bending your knees and sitting lower. The one commonality between all of the throwing techniques at this belt rank is the footwork. And it's very similar to the footwork you already know. My first step is to grab the limb I'm going after. I don't want to lean to grab the limb because now that puts my energy coming forward and he can punch me. So instead, I cover that distance with the step. In real life, you might cover that distance with the step and a punch to distract him here while you're trying to grab here. My second step is going to that triangle point. Now you're going to notice we set up the triangle between the 2 blue dots of his feet and the green dot of the point I'm stepping for. And you might have markers like that in the beginning for you to practice with. I step to grab. My second step goes right onto that triangle point. My third step, I pivot for my feet to match, and you'll notice how my knees are bent. I want to come down where I feel my belt down below the level of his belt. From this position, I can very easily pull and just lift him with my legs. If my legs are too straight when I step in here, I'm now trying to lift him up over my shoulder and I'm going to throw my back out. He's too heavy for me to lift like that. It's a simple step to grab, step to enter, step and squat, then lift. Pretty easy. Now, if you don't have a partner and you can set up some kind of target like this, then you can just use your targets first, looking at it, 1, 2, 3. But eventually, you notice when I'm looking at the dots, my head's down. That's putting my energy forward. Eventually, I want to look forward, and I want to try to see the 2 blue dots right out of the corner of my eye. I don't need to see the green dot because my feet are naturally going to go that way. As long as I can see the direction of the other 2 dots. Back straight, bend the knees. Back straight, bend the knees.